Pandas is a Python library built for manipulating and analyzing data. It's compatible with matplotlib, so it's useful not only for manipulating data, but also for creating a variety of useful visualizations. Now, in case you were wondering, the name pandas comes from the data science term panel data from econometrics, which refers to observations for the same group of individuals being observed over time. Pandas is amazing though because we can take these huge data sets and manipulate them very easily, then use other libraries to visualize that data. So by the end of this video, you should be able to explain what a series is and what a data frame is, and be able to generate each one of them in Python. These are the two objects that you'll be spending most of your time working with in Pandas. You'll also have a list of resources to pull from when learning to use Pandas. We'll start by installing and importing Pandas by using the command line functionality with the exclamation point and say pip install pandas if you don't already have it. I already do though, so I'm not even going to do that part. And then you can say import pandas, and we'll import it as pd, which is pretty standard. We'll also import numpy, as np. A series is a one-dimensional array with axis labels on the side. An example might be a time series dataset with stock prices for each period. Like with most other Python objects, series are zero-indexed, but the index can be modified to be a set of dates, which can be especially useful in the case of time series data. Let's get into how we can actually make a series to manipulate. You can create a series by using pd.Series with a capital S of the only required argument is data. Data equals, and we'll put anything that we want here. I'm just going to make it simple for this video and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is my series. On the left side, you have the indices from 0 to 4, and on the right side, you have my individual data points. So let's do something that I like to do when I'm wrestling with a lot of different objects in Pandas. I'm going to set this equal to a variable a, and it's not going to display because I just set a variable there. And I could do type a. This is the default argument for creating a Pandas series, where you'll have no data. You don't specify any index, so it'll just go from 0 through whatever number of data points you have. Data type, you can actually force a data type on your entries. So you could put in a lot of integers and then force them to be strings, for instance. This is typical of a lot of different programming languages where you have to actually specify the data type. Name equals none. I'm not going to go into that. Copy equals false. Fastpath, you don't really use those that much. So let's make a more interesting Pandas series. This is one that I just copied and pasted from before. Pandas series data equals 1732 np.nan men 00. So you can feed in any different kind of data value that you want to. And then I've set my indices to be red, blue, 7, nan, 7. And amazingly, this type of object can actually be created. While some of these details might seem unnecessary, it's worth mentioning that Pandas has a steep learning curve, but almost any kind of data manipulation can be done with it. It's only a matter of how to do it. You can make a Pandas data frame by using pd.DataFrame, and then that's really all that you need. That's a totally empty data frame just represented by a small box. Notice the capital D and the capital F in data frame. One way to create a Pandas data frame is by using something like this. So we can run this. Oh, there we go. And we get basically what we expect. And we can change anything in here. We could make it apple. Here's another data frame that we fed in as a dictionary. It alphabetizes them, so you do want to be careful with that. But most of the time, like, I showed you how to make all these data frames in these different ways, but you won't be using pandas in a vacuum. And almost all the time what I'm using is pd.read_CSV, and then you put in a string the name of the CSV that you want to pull out. So before I read the CSV in, I'm going to check my current directory, users, Robert Crow documents. So it's in my documents folder, and I already know that, but you are going to want to check that before you start reading in CSVs, because you have to put in the current file path, or the right file path for your CSV. So I can just do, this is the name of my file, wilshirehist.csv, and it's reading it. This thing is huge. Okay, this is 12 million data points. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is, or to get a glimpse of a data frame, b equals this, and then we can use b.head. And it's not really convenient for this one, but we can get a general idea, especially with smaller data frames, of what they're going to look like. And this is probably the most convenient way to do it without actually opening the whole thing up in Excel. And that covers it for our introduction to Pandas. If you have any constructive comments or feedback, I encourage you to leave it below. Thanks for watching. As promised, here are some of the resources that I use when I'm looking for some more information on Pandas. And I hope you enjoyed this video.